And I want you all to understand some straight talk from the nation's doctor. We really need you all to lean into and prioritize the health and safety of the American people. No more bickering, no more partisanship, no more criticism or finger pointing. There'll be plenty of time for that. But we all need to hit the reset button and lean into moving forward the health and safety of the American people as our top priority. This will get worse before it gets better, but we are making progress to flatten the curve. We are making progress. 3 important points. Number 1, almost all people will recover. 99% of people will recover. People need to know that. And we heard a great story on NPR this morning about an 89-year-old from that nursing home facility in Seattle who is recovered. Number 2, we must lean into protecting the most vulnerable, those with chronic or severe medical conditions, especially seniors. Now is the time for us to lean into that, and we are taking the measures to protect them at HHS. Secretary Azar, Bob Kadlec, Bob Redfield, Admiral Chawla are hard at work right now, leaning into that from the federal level, but we need your help. Social distancing and mitigation, they're not to protect the 30-year-old or the 20-year-old from getting coronavirus. They're to protect your nana. They're to protect your granddaddy. They're to protect the people who you love in your lives, and we need your help. And finally, we all have a role to play. If we are complacent, selfish, uninformed, if we spread fear and distrust and misinformation, this situation will last longer and more people will be hurt. But if we pitch in and we share the facts, we will flatten the curve and we will overcome this situation. So finally, my prescription, know your risk, understand your circumstances, and get the facts to protect yourself at coronavirus.gov.
Well done, John. Thank you. And Dr. Burks, you want to speak?
Yeah, no, thank you, Mr. Vice President, for mentioning that, because as I told you, in South Korea, there are 250,000 plus tests. About 96+% were negative. So, and that was with symptoms. So far in the United States, from LabCorp and Quest, they're running about a 99 to 98% negativity. This always worries me because I've worked in public health a long time. When you tell someone they're negative, yes, it's reassuring, but the last thing we want is them so reassured that they stop practicing these critical practices that are going to protect all of us. This epidemic will be stopped at the community level. Those are the individuals, it's Americans, and their response that will get us over this hump. And that's why, yes, we'll have testing available. We'll have to know that many are going to be negative, and you're going to have to help us carry that message that means just at that moment, you're negative, you need to continue to do all of your protection and protection of others to ensure you remain there. Now remember, all of the groups that are doing screening are screening on symptoms. And so we're trying to figure out, based on that information, is there a whole group under 20 that really doesn't get significant symptoms, yet we don't believe that uniquely people under 20 are naturally protected from the virus. So are they a group that are potentially asymptomatic and spreading the virus? Because of that, and because of that unknown, we don't want to say that the risk is low when we don't know how low the numbers are for people who are asymptomatic. We have a good sense of the number of people who are having symptoms, and we have a good sense of who is deeply impacted by this. People of a certain age are at higher risk for a worse outcome, and that's why we have been so laser focused on that. But the other side of the epidemic is how much transmission. And until you really understand how many people are asymptomatic and asymptomatically passing the virus on, we think it's better for the entire American public to know that the risk of serious illness may be low, but they could be potentially spreading the virus to others. And that's why we're asking every American to take personal responsibility to prevent that spread. And that's why we've made all of these recommendations broad, even past people who have symptoms or no symptoms, because we need to have everybody taking precautions.
And I hope that, we as a nation can use this as an opportunity to pull together for good. President Trump is going to be recommending a national day of prayer. And, we've gotten away from prayer and faith a lot in this country. There's nothing wrong with godly principles, no matter what your faith is. Loving your neighbor, caring about the people around you, developing your God-given talents to the utmost so that you become valuable to the people around you, having values and principles that govern your life. Those are things that made America zoom to the top of the world in record time. And those are the things that will keep us there too.